not just to the Fulani terrorists, but to the Igbo politicians, Igbo elites. IPOB was so successful that people were actually walking about with their IPOB membership identification. It's not a secret, it's not a violent, it's not a terror or anything group. The Igbo political class, Igbo governors, Igbo elites, they felt threatened because around that time, the only name in the mouth of more than 80% Igbos, and including non-Igbos who are Biafrans, here is something you should know. When you hear about Biafra is not just about the Igbos. Biafra also includes those who are also non-Igbos in that same geographical spread beyond the core Igbo land and Igbo-speaking people. That is what the Biafra is, right? So Nnamdi Kanu became the most powerful political figure in eastern part of Nigeria and beyond. So around that time, the political class felt like this guy actually wields so much influence that if for any reason he should decide to want to go into politics, it will bury majority of them like that without spending a dime. People were offering IPOB their money, their resources, and their lives. Do you know why? Nnamdi Kanu became the first Igbo in a long time to make Igbos believe that whatever conditioning and other stigmatization that Nigeria has placed on them, they are the cause if they accept them. Nnamdi Kanu happened to be the first to remind them that you need to push back. And when you say push back, it is for your own sake and your unborn generation. However, this threat was something that the political class couldn't really take. So they started the plots of cutting him to size. What was he all about? What does he want? Does he want money? Does he want power? They tried to befriend him. They now discovered that he doesn't want any of those. He just wanted the Igbos, right? To be protected, to be defended, and at the same time, to be respected. That if you can do all of this, Nigeria will respect the Igbos beyond what they are currently being offered. But to the political class, we don't even understand what you mean by that. So, it is better we do something now. We need to do something now. That aside, to Nigeria, especially the Fulani oligarch, who always listen to his broadcast every now and then, his message was so powerful that even non-Igbos, they were beginning to kind of subscribe to his messages. They were beginning to question things when he now unleashed his expose on the agenda of the Fulanis, especially the one championed by Bokwari and those around him. That was too much for Nigeria to handle. In fact, a lot of people became so worried that if people begin to take this guy serious, Nigeria is going to break up. And it's not just going to be the Igbos, the Biafrans that will demand that. The rest of Nigeria will actually demand for the breakup of Nigeria. Something has to be done. He told us that the Fulanis were coming. The Fulani terrorists in particular, they are coming. That they will be armed and they will besiege, they will invade our space. They will demand for the control of our space. If we dare question them, they will kill us. And their leaders, they will protect them. These were unimaginable, unbelievable things at the time. There are a lot of people who were like, it's impossible. This guy must be mad. This guy, something is wrong with this guy. They must do something about this guy. So they started pushing the agenda of he's looking for war. He wants to start another war. He went to America to speak to the Undi Igbos in America, where he was so blunt and the same way, just straightforward. There is jihad coming. they are going to kill our people. They are going to massacre our people beyond what you can imagine. And if all of you are here in America, don't do something now, you will not have anywhere to go back to. Nobody believed that could happen. They thought it was just somebody who is mad, who was just trying to, So many people still have that belief to this day, despite the fact that everything he told us, come to pass, everything. They still won't believe that somebody like him is the one telling them. So, for those who are actually behind the agenda, those who are still to bring Ruga to us, those who are going to ask us our land or our life, that we should choose one, those who are still going to tell us that we should learn to live with our killers, they were like, who told this guy? How did he know? Because then it was like unthinkable, unbelievable. You know, like how could, no, that's impossible. They can't try that. Something is wrong with this guy. So it is better is they banked on that and get him away. I mean, take him out of circulation. So we championed that. Igbo politicians, since the Fulani terrorists, Bokwari and his gang, since they had their agenda, and the Igbos are threatened, the political class are threatened about Nnamdi Kanu's popularity, so it was easier for them to work together. That was why the first people to proscribe IPOB, the first set of people to call IPOB a terrorist organization, they were not Hausas or Fulanis. They were not Northerners. The first group of people to call IPOB terrorist group, they were the Igbo politicians, Igbo elites. And they started funding the media propaganda to make sure that Nnamdi Kanu is seen as a warmonger, hateful person, is somebody who is spreading hatred. So those who were sponsoring that, they took their memo to Bokwari to help them. They said, please help us. So we are not supporting this guy. We are not with this guy. This guy is only trying to cause trouble. He just wants to lead us to another war. So Bokwari, that was a silent killer. It was like, oh, really? Do you want me to deal with him? They say, yes, please do something. Help us. If we don't do something, this Nnamdi Kanu will begin to tell his boys. He will begin to tell others to kill us. To the point that even the deadliest people in Eastern Nigeria, I'm talking about, you can say maybe, cultists and some hardened criminals in Eastern Nigeria, they all have respect for Nnamdi Kanu. They all sit to listen to him. It was more or less like, sometimes they just like, give us the order. Nnamdi, give us the order. And he won't, because his agenda is not to cause war. His agenda is not to cause insecurity. His agenda is to awaken the Igbos, their consciousness, and make them ready for what was coming. Right? The politicians were so scared, they ran to Bokwari. Bokwari that had an unfinished business with the Eastern Nigeria anyway, when they said there was no winner, no vanquish in Nigeria genocidal war against the Biafrans. So when the Biafran, supposedly Igbo politicians came to him to help them deal with Nnamdi Kanu, it was like, oh, thank you. Yes, we can do that. How do you want it? How? Because I can send the soldiers in. I can send this in. I can send that in. I know some of you who actually today, ignorantly, or probably because of what you have been fed in the media, who hate, you hate Donald Trump because of the way Donald Trump speaks or talks. It was the same Donald Trump who raised the alarm when he met with Bokwari in Washington. Said to him, hey, Mr. Buhari, why are you killing Christians in Nigeria? Why are you allowing terrorists, jihadists, to be killing Christians in Nigeria? It was the same Donald Trump who invited the escaped or what have you, Chibok girls to America. It was Donald Trump. It was Donald Trump who gave the order that, yes, we are selling you this Tucano jet, but this Tucano jet must never be used in any part of Eastern Nigeria, ever. If you try that, then definitely you'll be violating this agreement. Today, some of you hate him because of what he said and what he's saying and how he's saying things, Abby. It was the same guy Donald Trump. Because of this terrorism in Nigeria, there no fresh terrorism. It was the same Donald Trump who raised an executive order, right? That the Christians in Nigeria and other parts of the world are endangered people, and they must be protected by America. All of that dead the moment Donald Trump was removed from office in 4 years ago. That is not even just that, okay? So they went on. They invited the murderer, Boko Haram, to do everything to help them crush IPOB. And so Malamu, Boko Haram, and others, they declared IPOB a terrorist organization, something that even the American government rejected. American government assigned Fulani terrorists as the fourth deadliest terror group in the whole world. But in Nigeria, they are having field day. They were making laws to kind of give them lands, protect them. They still enjoy it today. While IPOB, that never hurt anyone, not a single attack is recorded when Nnamdi Kanu was leading, and then it was kind of out there. But guess what? This whole gang up gave Boko Haram the license to kill. And of course, today, despite all the news you are hearing about the terrorism in northern part of Nigeria, Eastern Nigeria is the most militarized part of Nigeria today. Eastern Nigeria is the most militarized, terrorized by the supposed agent of Nigeria today, courtesy of the Igbo politicians, Igbo governors, Igbo lawmakers, and the rest of them, right? So Nnamdi Kanu became a target. He must be removed. He must be killed. IPOB must be neutralized. Everyone associated with that, with the name, they must be slaughtered. And they have been slaughtering them. They have been making them disappear, right? In the last 6 years, they have killed and denied this whole killing. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped from Kenya, especially when he resurfaced, when they attempted to kill him in 2019, and they failed. They were surprised. How did he escape? They cornered him. He was in his house. They killed there more than 28 people who were there. Like you can't arrest him, right? They killed over 28 people. Then he kind of managed to escape them. Resurfaced again in 2019 or so. Resurfaced, and they have been after him since then. So when they captured him, or let me say, when they kidnapped him from Kenya, they brought him to Nigeria like a trophy. But yet, they couldn't prove anything in their own court. So the case got to their Supreme Court. In fact, before it got to their Supreme Court, at their own appeal court, the appeal court said, let's be honest, the process of renditioning him, the process of kidnapping him and bundling him back to Nigeria is so illegal that it has brought a diplomatic shame to Nigeria. And that acts as actually like rendered any attempt to try him in Nigerian courts impossible. So the least they can do is Nigeria. You hear that one? Nigeria must pay Nnamdi Kanu 1.5 billion naira. Apologize to him. Put him in a private jet and fly him back to Kenya where they got him. Now, if they now want to try him, they will first try and apply for extradition process, which means Nigeria will sue him in Kenya to the Kenyan courts. The Kenyan judges and all that will look at the merit and demerit. If the Kenyan judge now says, yes, you are guilty, you can be extradited to Nigeria. That is when Nigeria can then take him to Nigeria and then try him for anything they want to try him for. Anything apart from that is a pure abuse of legal system or legal process. But Nigeria is a lawless place where Nnamdi Kanu has already been tried in the media, and people have already been fed with so much propaganda that they are not asking themselves that If you say somebody committed a crime and you have evidence against him, before you didn't have him, now you have him. How come you are not presenting those evidence now and try him in your own court? There is none. The primary purpose was to see if they could talk him out of it. When Bokwari couldn't, failed, you know what they are now doing? They are now looking for what they call the political solution. In their political solution, they want Nnamdi Kanu to sign an agreement that if they release him, he will just walk away. He will no longer talk about Biafra, and he will no longer come to Nigeria. If he agrees, they will release him right now. Right now. Nnamdi Kanu will walk out of that courtroom right now, right away. But the guy was like, it's not in my hand. Because as what we have suffered, in fact, before that, when Nnamdi Kanu resurfaced, after the attempt to kill him, Nnamdi Kanu now no longer call on the Igbo elite anymore. He no longer asks the Igbos in America or wherever they are anymore to come and defend Igbo land. So one day, sometimes in 2020, Nnamdi Kanu, December 2020, Nnamdi Kanu just released this massive video. Nearly 5,000 young men and women, they were sort of displayed as the new security outfit in Igbo land. By then, the Fulani terrorists, they have already started their killings from the eastern Nigeria to western Nigeria to even the core part of Niger Delta. This time around, Nnamdi Kanu was no longer calling anybody to come and join hands and do this anymore. He set up a security outfit called the Eastern Security Network. When they saw that sent a serious panic into the hearts of the Igbo politicians again. The Igbo elites, they were shocked. How did he manage to put this number? Where did he get all these people? Oh my God. So that means if this guy really wants to take us out, he's not saying he wants to take anybody out. He's not even threatening anybody, but they felt so threatened when they saw the ESN. And the ESN, which happened to be like the forest rangers. You know those they call the forest ranger. They are not there in the city. You can't find them in towns. They are there in the forest. And they have only one mission. One mission. And that is to neutralize any and every Fulani terror group they see in the forest of Igbo land. How could anybody hate that? How could anyone be against that? That was like, oh, we've had enough. We need to kill this guy now. This is it. We cannot let this, you know. Again, this guy that died in London recently, he was alleged to have been the one that actually provided the private jets they used in renditioning Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. The guy died in London, a few months ago. He denied it, though. In fairness, so he said, no, he wasn't the one, he was the liar, that no, he didn't do it, but allegedly, he was the one, as one of the elite and politician that provided the aircraft they used in kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Abuja as his own part of the deal. ESN was then going after the Fulani terrorists, disguising as Fulani herdsmen. And around that time, Bokwari was like, no, Malamu and Co. Dead or alive, we need Nnamdi Kanu. Dead or alive. So when they got him from Kenya and brought him to Nigeria, they still couldn't prosecute him until he defeated them in their own court. They now sent it to the Malamu. Now pleaded with this IP court, please don't do this. We cannot let this guy go. There are so many interests that will be disappointed. Can you please just hold him? Let the Supreme Court decide. They took him to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court judgment, which he was reading to them in court today, partly. Today. On the lower court.
So I was actually surprised that a high court have refused to obey or abide by the determination of a Supreme Court judgment.
And then take the only part that is against him and then refuse to apply the part that is in favor of him.
this cherry picking of what was contained in the Supreme Court judgment is what I'm against.
Yes, that's correct.
It should be implemented holistically.
Yes.
I'm not against facing any trial.
Judgment.
After all, I'm innocent. They have not been against me. But there cannot be any trial when key sections of the Constitution and a key Supreme Court judgment has been violated by a court of law.
Are you concerned so you'll be patient for the case to go back and come back to the court?
This is my 4th year in solitary confinement in detention. The 5th year will not kill me.
Sorry, what if the case is also reassigned back to her? Will you still be comfortable?
It's not going on.
No, it won't happen.
It won't happen. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way at all.
Thank you very much.
These are the things that the public must understand. Most of you journalists, the legal correspondents, you don't take time to actually study some of these rulings and judgments. Go and study. In fact, I'll give you.
Bring that envelope. Bring the envelope.
Look at it here. Look at it here. Look at it.
I'll give it to her because I think she's a bit more.
Give her the Supreme Court judgment.
More, can you hold this for me?
She can.
I want to let the whole world understand something. Very, very clear. In all this is judgment of the Supreme Court. It made it very clear that even that the impartiality of the judge is questionable. And it's here. Where is the? Please do bear with me. It says it here.
I like
what is
it.
the page? What is that again?
Where
it says
page 18.
all these things are online. Is it not page 18? All these things are online. So I suggest that the journalists in this country actually take out time to do some basic research. It's not difficult, just minor research. You will understand the virtuousness, the emptiness of all the charges against me.
Okay.
They kept switching the charges. They said I committed this crime in England, isn't it?
Yes.
I made a broadcast in England.
Yes.
And in 9 charges leveled against me, this place where I committed this crime was London, in the United Kingdom.
Yes.
When my lawyers came to see me, I had a discussion with them about how I'm going to defend myself. I told them that no court in Nigeria has jurisdiction to try me. Because since this offense was committed in England, so they said, it's only a UK court that can give a Nigerian court the authority to proceed, isn't it?
Yeah, based on that, they removed London.
Based on that, they now amended the charge again and removed London.
Location of the broadcast.
Location of the broadcast. Contrary to section 196.
174 of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2022.
In violation of their own laws. Violation of their own laws. And you want me to stand trial under such circumstances? Is that possible? Nnamdi Kanu to stand trial where these shenanigans are going on? It's not possible.
Because the Nigeria
of the people stops with me. It cannot happen. It can never happen. That is why we do what we do. That is why I do what I do. I am campaigning for the freedom of my people because of the persecution that we are facing. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less.
Thank you very much.
Simple. I am fighting I'm fighting against the persecution of my people. It's, you can raise all allegations and all trump-up charges and the rest of them. Most of them that you cannot even prove in your own courts. Most of them that are actually against your supposed law in your own country. But in the media, they are pushing different narratives. They're asking for political solution. Their own political solution is for the guy to just stop talking about Biafra. And he's told them, even if I stop talking about Biafra, at this point, people are more awake now. People are more awake now. The persecution still continues. Here you get. And we know that the persecution of the Igbos in Nigeria is not done to them without the consent of the political class, the Igbo political class. They are the most scared. They are the most scared about this IPOB thing. And that is why he said, those of them who wanted to keep him in their detention, they are doing so because him being there gives them some leverage. They are profiting from it. They are gaining from it. And in order to justify why he has to remain there, they are sponsoring different kind of terror group in Eastern Nigeria. And their media is always ready to tag anything happening in Eastern Nigeria, IPOB. Even when IPOB comes out to say, no, we have nothing to do with this, we will not do this, blah, blah, blah. No, their media will never publish that. Their media in Nigeria will continue to label everything going on in Eastern Nigeria as IPOB this, IPOB that. But when it goes to their courts, they do not have the chance, or they do not have the, the temerity to present the evidence that, okay, IPOB is doing this, and now Nnamdi Kanu ordered them to do it. No way. So the reason why they are keeping him is because they just want him to walk away. And that's how stupid